You know, there was no one thing that made me leave Skyline. I graduated from Skyline. I coached there, I taught there, and I feel like I'm a Titan for life. So there was no one thing that happened. I just felt like at that point in my career, I've been coaching for 12 years. I felt like it was a good time to make a transition and go from a smaller league and section like OAL to kind of with the bigger teams and multiple teams in the NCS. And so it's been a great transition. I'm really trying to set up a culture of accountability, responsibility, being a champion, and all the characteristics that go along with that. I think that one of the ways that it's been easier probably than when I was at Skyline, was that I have an outstanding staff. Tony Green, who was the former head coach of O'Dowd, he's come on and he stayed on the staff, and he's my throws coach. Megan McFarland, who's an alum, she's been helping out in sprints, jumps, hurdles, throws, anything that we need her to do. We also have Trishika Bennett, who was also a coach for the last 10 years here at Bishop O'Dowd. And then when I came from Skyline, I brought Andrew Chang with me, who's my distance coach. And he, along with Alex Teague, has been doing an outstanding job with the kids. So we definitely have more adult supervision. We have more expertise. We have more coaches. So that helps us be able to be better prepared and better work with the 100 or so kids that we have. Anytime you bring in a new program with a new set of kids or a group of kids get a new program, it's a transitional period. Taking nothing away from the coaches that were here before, because they did an outstanding job and had O'Dowd at a particular level. But what we're trying to do now is to be able to continue to build upon that and to build upon the strengths that we've had in the past. And the kids have been very receptive. I think early on it was a little challenging, some of the workouts, some of the intensity levels, and now that they've gotten kind of used to that, I think that they're all on board about what the goal is, and the goal is always the same no matter what. Just like in the NFL or NBA, the idea is to, you want personal growth, you want individual development, and you want to be able to keep your eyes on the prize, which is ultimately that championship. Wherever you are, there's going to be issues and concerns, no matter where you are. And I think one of the things that's helped me kind of deal with any of those that might arise is that I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not trying to just be a flash in the pan and and just try to be here for a couple of years and use it as a stepping tool to get to another job. I want to be here. I want to be at Bishop O'Dowd, and we're willing to work through some of the tight spots, some of the trouble spots, in order to be able to make this a championship contender every single year, not only for NCS but also in the state and the nation. You got to work hard every day. We teach the kids that every time they step foot on the track, it's about getting better. It's about getting better than you were yesterday, better than you were earlier in that day, better than the last rep that you just did. So that's something that we've really been emphasizing, really trying to get kids to be able to understand. The other piece is that this is when it gets mentally tough. This is when it gets mentally and emotionally tough, is when you have to go through rounds to be able to make it to state, when you have to be able to compete at a high level every single weekend, and sometimes back-to-back days like a Friday and a Saturday. So those are kind of the things that we're not just working on the physical part, because to be quite honest with you, based on systems and everything, the hay is in the barn, so to speak. In the next couple of weeks, what they'll have is what they'll have. It's really who can be the most mentally tough, who can be the most emotionally strong to be able to move through this. It was a different year. We normally, in the past, have had a bunch of sprinters, jumpers, hurdlers, and maybe a 2-miler. This year was kind of reversed. We had all 800 and above runners. On the girls' side, we actually took 5 freshman girls. First time I've ever done anything like that. And those 5 freshman girls ran on a 4x8 and a 4x-mile, and they did an exceptionally good job. We also took down some boys, 2 seniors, a junior and a sophomore, and ran a 4x8, got second in that race, and at the time we were number 2 in the country, and we ran a distance medley where at that time we ran 10-12, and that time I believe it was number 6 or number 7 in the country. And so that was a huge self-esteem booster, not only just for the young men and young women that went and that participated, but then also for the program as a whole. I think track and field has the need, the want, the desire for track and field has kind of gone up in the last few years. Also with track clubs, I think that's one way, getting kids involved in track and field early. It's very interesting because I think one of the challenges is that a lot of people want to do a lot of different sports, and the other sports want them to do it year-round. So you have soccer, you have basketball, you have football, all these different things, and I think the kids and the families kind of feel pulled about which one to do, and many people don't see track and field as a viable option until later. And so one thing that we're trying to do is to expose young freshmen or kids that haven't done sports before, to expose them to track and field early and build that love and that desire to be able to come out and get better. So I think that in terms of the future of track and field in high school, you got to do the track clubs. You got to be able to talk about the mental, physical, and emotional state of student athletes, and expose kids to it that may not normally come into the sport.